This changes everything. Season 14 is going to be absolutely huge. There is no way they just did this. Okay, so obviously we're going to be going through the patch notes here, and obviously we're getting Vantage and a change to the map. It looks beautiful, much greener, much brighter, more in line with the start of the season, the start of the game. They're increasing the level cap, which means that you can get up to level I don't care. You can prestige, and it's just a bunch of details. The only number you want to know is that the total number of Apex packs earnable via account leveling is now 544, which means that yes, just by playing the game for free, you will get at least one heirloom because they're guaranteed at 500 packs. So that's awesome. And they also changed the battle pass, but who cares anyways. Season 13 rank results, nobody cares. They snuck this one in here. This season 14 rank changes are at entry cost, +5 to all. It's good. They removed diminishing returns on eliminations, which is also good because you should be rewarded for taking a lot of fights and taking a risk in RP. If you can kill many teams, you should be rewarded for it. The problem is that the matchmaking is really bad, so the Predator stacks that are playing against golds and platinums, they're now even more incentivized to just keep W keying and sending it through the entire game. So yeah, good luck to you guys. I'm not touching ranked. I haven't done forever. Other than the Soul of the Master. They're adding laser sights, but more on that later. It seems actually not more on that later. So I guess this just goes on all of them. They mention it laser sights here, and then they remove barrel stabilizer for one for the car, and then never mention it again. So I don't know what's happening there. Maybe it's a mistake in the patch notes. As for the care package, G7 Scout, the Volt, they go back to the floor. Bocek and Rampage enter the crate with slight buffs. Crafting rotation, Wingman returns to the floor. Car SMG returns to the floor. Devotion and RF45 pre-coupled with a hammer point enters the crafter. Or maybe not pre-coupled, it comes with. Close enough. The SMG's base fire hipfire spread is increased. The assault rifle's base hipfire spread is increased. The EVA 8 received pretty significant buffs, and I think this might actually bring either in line with other shotguns or maybe even on the forefront, which is recoil improvements. It takes stocks. It removes a pellet from blast pattern. I assume that's the middle of the. It used to be at 8. Wait, that's not an 8 pattern. It removes the middle one, so now it's just a circle. We'll see. And the fire rate has been increased. Pellet damage has been increased to 7 from 6, so from 46 damage to 50 something. And the bolt rate has increased as well. Well, white, not at all, but blue and purple fire faster. So it's going to be a beast to be reckoned with, as well with the double tap. I never used it, but I know people that did, so then they swore by it. It was good. It's very good. Damage and full draw speed increased for the Bocek. Tempo draw speed increased. So overall, just buffs, shatter caps, pellet damage increased. And it makes sense because they're going into the care package. Fired ammos can no longer be collected, and arrows are being removed from the floor, which again makes sense. You can't get it otherwise if it's a care package weapon. The Rampage does 2 more damage per shot, and it comes with a pre-coupled thermite grenade. I assume it's just one, and then you have to find your own. But that's good, so you can actually unlock the maximum capability when you pick it up at the start. Volt damage reduced. And again, the car SMG no longer takes barrel attachments, but this is the only mention of that, and I don't know what's up with that. The G7 Scout does less damage, body shot, headshot, and they actually nerfed the double tap a little bit. I think it's good because it was very strong before. Only reason nobody picked it up is because it was in a care package with a finite amount of ammo. Who wants to pick that up? L-Star increased projectile speed, increased the number of shots before OV the base from 24 or 224, and there's no longer red flash when hitting non-armored targets, which makes it more, well, easier to track, which is it's all about. We don't want visual impairments, do we? RA45 has been fixed QL. I've complained about this actually, that the RA45 has a different FOV. I'm pretty sure it has no FOV change. It just feels strange because any other pistol zooms in a little bit. RA45 doesn't. Wingman uses sniper ammo on magazines. We know this. We already covered this, but we'll talk about this a little bit later. Sniper ammo now is 28 shots per stack instead of 24. Spitfire had a recoil adjustment, increased vertical barrel climb. I feel like we've read this in like 3 patch notes already. The Spitfire uses light ammo on magazines. I can't get over it. I just feel so cursed. But the 30-30 repeater. So I don't think people have really woken up to this yet. The 30-30 repeater, I think, is going to be a problem. Mark my words, because now the dual loader is worked into the base 30-30, and it takes a skull piercer rifling. Just small things that make it handle a little bit better, like it feels better to use. Obviously, it does more damage per headshot. The key thing here is that the Wingman no longer takes heavy, but the repeater still does, which means that it's the only poke weapon, I'd say, single fire poke weapon, in the heavy category, and heavy is much easier. I don't know how big the stacks are, definitely bigger than 28. And you can just carry more ammo. So it essentially, it does exact same damage if they're more than the Wingman already. So the 30-30 repeater ends up replacing the Wingman And the Wingman was already meta, so it's gonna be crazy. Believe me. Much like if you agree. Mastiff, projectile growth reduced, base fire rate reduced, and dual loader removed. So overall a nerf, which is good. It was a guaranteed fight winner before. Probably still pretty strong, but probably not as strong. Deadeye's tempo has been worked into the base, and then also they're removing a few hop-ups to make things a little bit cleaner, especially because they're adding the double tap, also making the Skull Piercer epic instead of legendary, because that's... it didn't make sense it was legendary. It's the exact same as the Skull Piercer used to be. Really big one here, they're changing the backpack gold perk to deep pockets. Now, the ramifications of this we have yet to see, but in this essence, batteries and medkits now stack to 3 in inventory, and Phoenix kits stack to 2 in inventory if you have a gold backpack. And I think this will help teams to play aggressive and have a lot of loot, because they'll just have more loot. They burn through a lot more heals because they're playing aggro, and now they have heals to go with it, so that's good for them. They're also removing the self-revive. That's just a big dubski for TTV such as myself, and I think that's a very good thing. Instead, you get the Guardian Angel, which means that if you revive someone, they get revived with half their health. So I think that's a good change overall. I think self-revives are very bad for the game, and we've talked about this for about 2 years now. So finally, they get around to do it. They're reducing the stick damage to 10 from 40, so pretty big nerf to Arc Stars. They remove aim, slow, and stick, remains of detonation, even more of a nerf on Arc Stars, and detonation damage increases 72. So overall, you do 5 more damage on a detonation, but you lose effectively 30 HP from Arc Star. They already nerfed it many times. It's getting real close to going into the grave. I don't know if it's enough, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Valk gets a much deserved nerf with her bunny hopping. Fuel consumption and activation increased by 33%. Aerial boosting and strafing take a 20% debuff when hit by slowing effects. I assume when they say slowing effects, that includes gunshots. And it was a problem before that if you're chasing a Valkyrie, they're kind of just jumping around and you can't really do much to hit them. And now it should be a lot better with that. They won't be able to do it as long at the very least. These are a little bit confusing, but they're saying aim, turn, slow, removed, move slow, duration decreased from 2.5 to 2 seconds, and they reduce explosion radius on her tactical. So all in all, it's a nerf to the tactical. And the scour dive has been reduced. You don't fly as high. The leak said it will go to 90 meters, which doesn't make sense. It's reduced to 200 meters from 250. I think that's the number that I used to have. I don't remember exactly. And I think that's a very good change. It also, the launch time has been reduced. So Valk players now travel upwards at a slightly slower speed. But the height reduction means that you can't go as far. It's very obvious, but I guess I have to spell it out. I think it's a good change because you could rotate so far. You could go from west of Fragment all the way to deep into Skyhook, maybe even to west Skyhook with one Valk ult. This is a lot better, in my opinion. And this Horizon change, I cannot get over this. So you guys might not remember this, but July 12th, so about a month ago, I tweeted out, Horizon's ultimate has 200 health, but takes 2 mags and a reload to destroy because of these Ignorex get your stuff together, Apex. And a lot of people from the Apex community goes, no, that's not true. It's not true. You're crazy. There's nothing wrong with Horizon's ultimate. Well, here you go. There was something was wrong because they fixed it. You could sink a whole Wingman mag or whole R31 mag into Horizon's ultimate, and sometimes it would just no rig and you would die. So I think, and also takes more damage from explosives. This is a pretty big nerf to Horizon that they're not really spelling out, but it's between the lines. This is a very big change for sure. This might actually help take her out of the meta. So look out, C9. Newcastle has increased move speed during revive by 25%, reduced turn slow while reviving by 50%. So overall, just a lot faster, right? And his mobile shield, again, faster, and it has more health. So they really want to bring Newcastle into the meta because he's still a sleeper pick. I think there are some competitive teams that run him, but overall, though, he's the least picked legend, so this will definitely bring him into the meta, I think. They also buffing the castle wall, so now they have turn slow if you get hit by the barrier, because as you guys know, when he puts his barrier down and you touch the outer rim within the, I think it's 30 seconds from him using it, you will get slowed. Now it also slows your turn speed, and you get even more slowed movement-wise, so you become an easy kill if you don't respect it. Maggie, for whatever reason, received a buff to her projectile launch speed, and the Wrecking Ball has a massive buff here that will change the meta, in my opinion. It will travel twice as far. They apparently was supposed to blind and slow enemies, so now it does that. But more importantly, it deals damage to enemy placeable objects, and it destroys Gibraltar's Dome of Protection. It destroys Gibraltar's bubble. This is the only ability in the game. I'm lying to you. Crypto can also do that. It's the only non-crypto ability in the game that can do that. Massive change. Absolutely meta-defining. Then I have some small QL changes here for these guys that don't matter that much. Crafting update, when a player interacts with the harvesters, you know, the little boxes with materials, instead of everyone having to interact with it and pick up the crafting materials, all the players get plus 35, or plus 30 actually. I think they changed it. Doesn't matter. These are all the numbers. If you want to look at it, pause the video. I'm just gonna go through it. Ring adjustments. Ring 1 damage has been increased, so it's Ring 1 and Ring 2 has the same damage. This makes it a little bit less viable to play edge of zone, and it also closes faster because we don't want these people to play outside of zone. I think it's very lame, so very good. Fragment Loot buffed, very good, and just a lot of QL buffs and bug fixes. This is the third time I record this video because of technical issues, so I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to smash subscribe. I will be covering the new season for the entire week with bangers all through the week. I'm just gonna lock in and work real hard to get the videos out for the next, tomorrow. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss them. Again, drop a comment and a like if you enjoyed the video. It helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.